Chosen one. What you're about to discover in this video isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. This is the green light you've been waiting for, the signal from the universe that your time has arrived. Right now, as you watch these words, you are connected to millions of others across the globe who carry the same frequency, the same calling, the same divine spark within them. This isn't about religion or dogma. This is about recognizing the profound truth that you are part of something far greater than yourself. The green light represents permission, activation, and alignment all at once. For too long, you may have felt like you were waiting in the wings, preparing in silence, doubting whether your moment would ever come. But the waiting is over. The universe has aligned circumstances, people, and energies in such a way that your path forward is now illuminated. You and millions like you are attached to this moment in time, this shift in consciousness, this awakening that is sweeping across humanity. The signs have been appearing in your life, synchronicities that seem too perfect to be random, dreams that feel more real than waking life, an inner knowing that whispers to you in the quiet moments. This video will help you understand what this green light truly means, why you are receiving it now, and what it signifies for the journey ahead. You are not alone in this experience. Across continents and cultures, others are feeling the same pull, the same awakening, the same call to step into their true purpose. The green light is shining for all of you simultaneously, because this is a collective moment of transformation. What affects one affects all, and what you do with this activation will ripple outward in ways you cannot yet imagine. Watch this video until the very end, because the information shared here builds upon itself, and the full picture will only become clear when you receive all the pieces. This isn't just a video to consume passively. This is an energetic transmission, and your participation matters. Write your warmest wishes in the comments and write Amen along with the number 99. Understand that when you do this, you're not just typing words on a screen. You're sending a signal into the quantum field, adding your voice to a chorus of millions who are claiming their divine right to abundance, purpose, and fulfillment. Your words carry vibration, and that vibration interacts with the words of others, creating a powerful energetic vortex that amplifies everyone's intentions. Now, chosen one, don't rush past this. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and allow the message to start working. The concept of being chosen has been misunderstood throughout human history. Many have believed that being chosen means being selected above others, being special in a way that creates separation or hierarchy. But that is not what this message is about. When we speak of the chosen one, we are speaking of anyone who has awakened to their true nature, anyone who has recognized the divine spark within themselves, anyone who has decided to stop living a life of unconscious reaction and instead step into conscious creation. You are chosen because you chose yourself. You are chosen because somewhere along your journey, despite all the noise and distraction of the world, you heard a quiet voice inside that said, "There is more to life than this." You felt it in moments of stillness, in the space between thoughts, in the knowing that arrived without explanation. That voice was not your imagination. It was the voice of your soul, and it was calling you back to remembrance. The green light you're receiving now is the universe's response to that inner calling. It's as if you sent out a signal, consciously or unconsciously. And now the cosmos is answering with a resounding, "Yes, we hear you, and we are ready to meet you where you stand." Millions across the planet are experiencing this same activation because humanity as a whole is reaching a critical point in its evolution. We are transitioning from an age of separation, competition, and survival consciousness into an age of unity, collaboration, and thriving consciousness. This shift doesn't happen all at once for everyone. It happens in waves, and you are part of the current wave of awakening. The fact that you're drawn to content like this, that you resonate with these words, that something inside you recognizes this message as truth, these are all indicators that you are tuned to the frequency of this transformation. The green light is not just permission to move forward. It's an energetic download, an activation code that unlocks dormant aspects of your consciousness. It's the universe saying, You are ready now for what comes next. For years, perhaps even decades, you may have felt like you were in preparation mode, like you were waiting for something you couldn't quite name. You developed skills that didn't seem immediately useful. You went through experiences that broke you open in ways that were painful but necessary. You met people who came into your life for brief moments but left permanent impacts on your soul. You encountered obstacles that seemed designed specifically to test your resolve, your faith, your commitment to something greater than temporary comfort. All of this was preparation. None of it was wasted. Every single experience, every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment of confusion or doubt, all of it was shaping you, molding you, refining you into the person who could carry the frequency of this green light. You had to be strong enough to hold it, wise enough to use it responsibly, and humble enough to recognize that it flows through you but does not originate from your ego. The attachment between you and millions of others is not a physical connection. It's an energetic one. Think of it like a network of light that exists beyond the visible spectrum, connecting souls who are vibrating at similar frequencies. This network has always existed, but most people move through life completely unaware of it, trapped in the illusion of separation. When you awaken, when you receive the green light, you suddenly become conscious of this network. You begin to notice the synchronicities more frequently. You meet people who seem to understand you without lengthy explanations. You discover content, books, teachers, and messages that speak directly to questions you've been pondering in private. This is not coincidence. This is the network activating in your awareness. You are quite literally tapping into a collective consciousness of awakened souls, and they are tapping into you. This mutual exchange of energy strengthens everyone involved. God, as the infinite intelligence that animates all of existence, works through this network in ways that transcend religious doctrine or limited human interpretation. God is not a figure sitting on a throne judging who is worthy and who is not. God is the very fabric of reality itself, the consciousness that flows through all things, the love that holds every particle in existence together. When you align yourself with this divine flow, when you surrender your limited ego perspective and open yourself to being guided by something greater, you become a conduit for miracles. The green light is evidence that you have reached this level of alignment. It means that the barriers between you and divine guidance have thinned enough that communication can flow more clearly. Your intuition becomes sharper, your dreams become more vivid and meaningful. Your sense of knowing becomes more reliable than any external authority. But receiving the green light also comes with responsibility. You are not being activated just for your own benefit. You are being activated so that you can serve the greater awakening of humanity. Every person who steps into their purpose, who aligns with their soul's mission, who chooses love over fear and creation over destruction, every such person raises the vibration of the entire planet. You are part of a grand design, a cosmic plan that has been unfolding for eons. The challenges facing humanity right now, the division, the chaos, the uncertainty, these are not signs that we are doomed. They are signs that the old systems, the old ways of thinking, the old paradigms built on control and scarcity are crumbling to make way for something new. And you, chosen one, are here to be part of building that new world. The attachment you have to millions of others is what makes this movement unstoppable. Individually, you might doubt your power or your ability to make a difference. But when you recognize that you are one node in a vast network of light workers, way showers, truth seekers, and love warriors, you realize that your individual contribution combines with millions of others to create an unstoppable force for transformation. It's like drops of water joining together to form a mighty river. One drop alone evaporates quickly, but millions of drops together can carve canyons and nourish entire ecosystems. You are that drop, and you are also the river. You are individual and collective simultaneously. The green light also represents divine timing. There have been moments in your life when you tried to force things to happen before the conditions were right. You pushed doors that weren't ready to open. You chased opportunities that weren't aligned with your highest path. You exhausted yourself trying to make things work through sheer willpower alone. But now, the green light is appearing precisely because the timing is correct. The universe operates according to patterns, cycles, and rhythms that are far more intelligent than our human minds can comprehend. Seeds don't sprout in winter. They wait for spring. Tides don't fight the moon. They flow with its pull. And your life too has seasons and cycles. The green light means you have entered a season of manifestation, of growth, of expansion. What was dormant is now ready to emerge. What was hidden is now ready to be revealed. What was potential is now ready to become actual. Many people spend their entire lives waiting for external validation before they give themselves permission to pursue their dreams. They wait for someone in authority to tell them they are good enough, smart enough, worthy enough. But the chosen one doesn't wait for external permission because they recognize that the only permission they truly need comes from within, from their connection to the divine. The green light is not coming from outside of you. It's being reflected back to you by a universe that mirrors your internal state. You gave yourself the green light first, at a soul level, and now reality is confirming that decision. This is how creation works. Consciousness precedes form, intention precedes manifestation, inner alignment precedes outer success. Your attachment to millions of others who are receiving this same green light creates a powerful morphic field, a collective consciousness that makes it easier for even more people to awaken. When a certain percentage of any population shifts into a new way of being, it creates what scientists call a tipping point, where the new behavior or consciousness suddenly becomes the norm rather than the exception. You are contributing to that tipping point for humanity. Every moment you spend in alignment with your higher self, every choice you make from love rather than fear, every action you take in service of your soul's purpose, all of this adds to the collective field and makes it easier for others to do the same. You are literally paving the way for those who will come after you. The green light is also an invitation to trust. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't look the way you expected. Trust that the delays you've experienced were actually divine protection, keeping you from paths that would have taken you away from your true purpose. Trust that the losses you've endured created space for something better to enter. Trust that the people who left your life were making room for your true soul tribe to arrive. Trust that God has not forgotten you, has not abandoned you, has not overlooked you. You have been seen all along, held all along, guided all along, even when you felt utterly alone. The green light is proof of this. It's the universe pulling back the curtain and showing you that there has been a plan all along, and you are right on schedule. Part of what makes this moment so powerful is that millions are experiencing it together. There is a collective exhale happening, a shared sense of relief that the waiting is over, the preparation phase is complete, and the time for action has arrived. When you connect with others who are also receiving the green light, you will feel an instant recognition, a sense of kinship that goes beyond ordinary friendship. These are your soul family members, the ones who signed up before incarnating to be here at this exact time in history to participate in this great shift. You may not share the same culture, language, religion, or background, but you share the same mission: to anchor higher consciousness on Earth and to help birth a new paradigm of human existence. The green light is not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Everything you've experienced up until now has been preparation for what comes next. The lessons you've learned, the strengths you've developed, the wisdom you've gained, all of this has been equipping you for the work ahead. And make no mistake, there is work to do. Not work in the exhausting, draining sense, but work in the sense of purposeful action, aligned effort, joyful service. When you are operating from your zone of genius, when you are doing what your soul came here to do, it doesn't feel like work in the conventional sense. It feels like play, like flow, like coming home to yourself. The green light is illuminating the path toward that kind of work, that kind of life. God's presence in this process is not distant or abstract. It's intimate and immediate. God is the intelligence that orchestrates the perfect timing of events, the love that sustains you through difficult passages, the peace that surpasses understanding in the midst of chaos. God is in the synchronicity that brought you to this video, in the resonance you feel with these words, in the stirring of hope and excitement in your heart, as you contemplate what might be possible now that the green light has appeared. You don't have to understand every detail of how this works. You just have to be willing to follow the guidance as it comes. The green light doesn't illuminate the entire journey all at once. It lights up the next step, and then the next, and then the next. This requires faith, the willingness to move forward even when you can't see the full picture. Your attachment to millions of others also means that you have unprecedented support available to you. You are not pioneering this path alone. Others have gone before you, and they've left breadcrumbs, teachings, tools, and wisdom to help you navigate what comes next. At the same time, those who come after you will benefit from the path you're carving now. This is the beautiful reciprocity of the awakening process. We each give and receive, teach and learn, lead and follow, depending on where we are in our individual journeys. The network of awakened souls is constantly sharing energy, insight, and encouragement, even when this happens on subtle levels that your conscious mind might not register. The green light is also an acknowledgement of your courage. It takes tremendous courage to wake up in a world that is largely still asleep. It takes courage to question narratives that everyone else accepts without examination. It takes courage to choose a path of authenticity when conformity would be so much easier. It takes courage to trust your inner guidance when it contradicts what society, family, or friends are telling you. You have demonstrated this courage through your willingness to keep seeking truth, to keep growing, to keep believing in something greater, even when circumstances seemed to contradict that belief. The green light is the universe's way of honoring your courage and saying, "We see you. We recognize what you've been through, and now we're ready to match your commitment with tangible support." This moment in history is unlike any other. Never before has such a large percentage of humanity been waking up simultaneously. Never before has information and connection been so readily available across the globe. Never before has the contrast between old paradigm and new paradigm been so stark and visible. You incarnated specifically to be here for this transition. Your soul knew what was coming, knew it would be challenging, knew there would be moments of doubt and darkness, but also knew that the opportunity to participate in such a massive shift in consciousness was worth the risk. And here you are, having made it through everything that tried to stop you, standing at the threshold of the green light, ready to step into the fullness of why you came. The millions who are attached to this moment with you are scattered across every continent, every culture, every demographic. This is not a movement limited by geography or identity. It's a movement of consciousness itself. What unites you is not external characteristics, but internal alignment. You all carry a similar frequency, a similar yearning for a better world, a similar commitment to being part of the solution rather than remaining part of the problem. When enough people hold this frequency simultaneously, it creates a resonance that affects everyone, even those who are not consciously aware of the shift. This is how change happens, not through force or coercion, but through resonance, attraction, and the natural human tendency to synchronize with the dominant frequency in any environment. The green light is personal and collective at the same time. It's personal because it speaks to your individual journey, your specific gifts, your unique mission. No one else can fulfill your purpose in exactly the way you will. Your perspective, your experiences, your voice, your energy, these are irreplaceable. At the same time, the green light is collective because your purpose is woven into the larger tapestry of humanity's evolution. You are not separate from the whole. You are an integral part of it. What you do matters not just to you, but to everyone. This is the paradox of awakening. You become more individual and more universal at the same time, more yourself and more connected to all that is. The green light represents a frequency shift that is occurring within your own energy field and consciousness. For those who have studied the nature of reality at deeper levels, it becomes clear that everything in existence is vibration, is frequency, is energy in motion. Your thoughts vibrate at certain frequencies, your emotions vibrate at certain frequencies, and even your physical body is not the solid mass it appears to be, but rather a collection of energy waves vibrating at specific rates. When we speak of receiving the green light, we are talking about an upgrade in your personal frequency, an elevation in the rate at which your consciousness vibrates. This is not metaphorical. This is actual, measurable in ways that science is only beginning to understand. The millions who are experiencing this shift simultaneously are all undergoing the same frequency recalibration, and this creates a harmonic resonance that amplifies the effect for everyone involved. When your frequency elevates, your perception of reality changes. Things that once bothered you no longer have the same emotional charge. People who once triggered you now simply reveal themselves as reflections of unhealed wounds that you can observe with compassion rather than reactivity. Situations that once felt like obstacles now appear as opportunities for growth and expansion. This is not because the external world has necessarily changed, though it often does shift in response to your internal transformation, but because you are now perceiving through a different lens. The green light activates this new lens, this upgraded operating system for consciousness. You begin to see connections where you once saw separation, to see possibility where you once saw limitation, to see love where you once saw threat. God operates through frequency and vibration, because these are the fundamental building blocks of creation itself. In the beginning, there was the Word, and the Word was vibration, was sound, was frequency, organizing formless energy into patterns and structures. When you align your personal frequency with the divine frequency, you become a co-creator with God, participating in the ongoing evolution of reality rather than merely reacting to circumstances that seem to happen to you. The green light is evidence that you have achieved this alignment, or at least that you have achieved enough alignment that the next level of your journey can begin. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be sincere in your intention to serve something greater than your limited self. The attachment between you and millions of others creates what could be understood as a quantum entanglement of consciousness. In quantum physics, particles that have interacted with each other remain connected regardless of the distance between them. What happens to one instantly affects the other. Consciousness operates according to similar principles. When souls agree before incarnation to participate in a collective mission, they remain connected at quantum levels throughout their earthly experience. This is why you can feel the energy of collective meditations even when you're meditating alone in your room. This is why global events can shift the collective mood in palpable ways. This is why when one person in the network makes a breakthrough, it makes it easier for others to make similar breakthroughs. You are quite literally entangled with millions of other awakening souls, and what you do energetically affects them, just as what they do affects you. The green light is not about bypassing the human experience or transcending the challenges of physical existence. Some spiritual teachings promote the idea that awakening means you will no longer face difficulties, that once you reach a certain level of consciousness, life becomes perpetually easy and comfortable. This is a misunderstanding of what awakening actually entails. The green light doesn't remove challenges from your path. It gives you the consciousness and the tools to navigate those challenges from a place of empowerment rather than victimhood. It shifts you from asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to asking, "What is this teaching me? And how can I use this experience to grow and serve?" The millions who are attached to this moment with you will still face their own unique obstacles and tests, but they will face them as conscious creators rather than unconscious reactors. There is a profound difference between the life you were conditioned to live and the life your soul actually came here to experience. From birth, most humans are subjected to programming designed to make them compliant, predictable, and controllable. Educational systems teach you what to think rather than how to think. Media tells you what to value, what to fear, what to desire. Family and culture impose expectations about who you should be and what path you should follow. All of this conditioning creates layers of false identity that obscure your true nature. The green light represents the moment when you have cleared enough of this conditioning that your authentic self can emerge and lead the way. It's not that you suddenly become someone different. It's that you finally become who you've always been beneath the masks and roles you were taught to perform. God's plan for humanity has always included this moment of mass awakening. It was never intended that humans would remain in limitation consciousness forever, believing themselves to be separate, powerless, mortal beings with no connection to the divine. That state of consciousness served a purpose for a time, allowing for certain experiences and lessons that could only occur in a realm of perceived separation. But humanity has now reached the point in its evolution where we are ready to remember our true nature while still in physical form. This is unprecedented in many ways. Past awakenings were limited to small numbers of individuals. The mystics, the sages, the enlightened few who withdrew from society to pursue spiritual realization. But this awakening is happening within society, in the midst of daily life, among people who work jobs and raise families and participate in the ordinary activities of human existence. This is what makes it so powerful and so transformative. The millions who are receiving the green light are not all at the same stage of the journey, and that diversity is actually part of the design. Some are just beginning to wake up, feeling the first stirrings of discontent with consensus reality, and the first inklings that there might be more to existence than what they've been taught. Others have been walking the conscious path for years, or even decades, and are now reaching new levels of mastery and service. Still others are somewhere in the middle, having shed many layers of illusion, but still grappling with certain areas of resistance or confusion. This range of experience within the network means that there is always someone ahead of you who can offer guidance, and someone behind you who needs the wisdom you've already acquired. The network is self-organizing and self-sustaining in this way, constantly circulating energy and information to wherever it is most needed. The green light also activates dormant DNA within your physical body. Scientists have discovered that the vast majority of human DNA appears to be non-coding, meaning it doesn't seem to produce proteins in the ways that the small percentage of active DNA does. This non-coding DNA has been called junk DNA, but it is anything but junk. It is latent potential, evolutionary capacity that is waiting to be activated when the consciousness of the individual reaches a certain threshold. The green light is a signal to this dormant DNA that the time for activation has arrived. You may notice changes in your physical body as this process unfolds. Changes in sleep patterns, dietary preferences, energy levels, sensitivity to environments and frequencies. These are not signs that something is wrong. They are signs that something is very right. Your biology is catching up with your consciousness, transforming to support the new frequency you are now carrying. When you operate from the consciousness of the green light, synchronicity becomes a normal part of your daily experience rather than a rare occurrence. You think of someone and they call you moments later. You need information or resources and they appear through seemingly random channels. You set an intention and the universe conspires to support its manifestation in ways that are far more elegant and efficient than anything you could have planned with your limited human perspective. This is not magic in the supernatural sense. This is how reality actually operates when you are in alignment with the fundamental principles that govern creation. The universe is not random or chaotic. It is organized according to patterns of meaning and purpose. When you align with your purpose, you plug into those patterns and begin to flow with them rather than against them. God communicates through synchronicity, through signs and symbols that speak to the soul in languages that bypass the rational mind. The green light itself is such a sign, a symbol that appears across multiple dimensions of your experience. You might see the color green repeatedly, or you might encounter metaphors of traffic lights and permission to proceed, or you might simply feel a sensation of expansiveness and possibility that wasn't present before. The specific form the sign takes is less important than your recognition of it as a sign. When you notice these communications from the divine and acknowledge them, you strengthen the channel through which they come. You essentially tell the universe, "Yes, I am paying attention. I am listening. I am open to receiving more guidance. This openness creates a feedback loop that brings more and more clarity to your path. The attachment you have to millions of others is not dependent on you knowing who they are or having direct contact with them. The connection exists at levels of reality that transcend physical proximity and conscious awareness. However, as you move forward on your path, you will increasingly encounter members of your soul tribe in physical reality as well. These meetings often feel electric, charged with recognition and familiarity, even though you may have never met before in this lifetime. You'll find yourself in conversations that go deep very quickly, bypassing the superficial small talk that characterizes most social interactions. You'll discover that you share similar experiences, similar questions, similar visions for what is possible. These connections are not accidents. They are orchestrated by the intelligence that governs the green light network.